Hey everybody, Dr. Pancakeface here, and in this video I'm going to be going over a badass minigun build I've been using here lately that I personally like to call the DAKKA build, because let's face it, if orcs from 40k ever actually played Payday 2, this is probably the build they'd be using. Because I mean, you're just running around in no armor with the biggest fucking gun you can find, shooting as many bullets as possible. So, I mean, this build wrecks face. Even in Death Wish, this build wrecks people. Let me jump on here and show you what I'm talking about. Show you a couple things that I use in this build. Now, first off, we'll take a look at the guns. Now, this build it's about shooting as many bullets as possible. And I'll show you why a little bit later. First off, the guns. For the minigun, I have the Stumpy Barrel and the I'll Take Half That kit, because you're gonna want as much concealment as possible, because this is a dodge build. I mean, let's face it, it's a dodge build. You're not wearing any armor, so obviously this is a dodge build. So you're gonna want your concealment as high as possible, and anything else you use on this thing, it's just gonna completely ruin it. So go on ahead and equip the I'll Take Half That kit and the Stumpy Barrel. Now, for this, you don't really have any steel sights to aim down, so pretty much all you got is the laser. And as you can see, this reduces your concealment. This reduces your concealment, and so do these two. These are even worse. So, compact laser module it is. Now, for the secondary, like I said, you want to shoot as many bullets as possible. So, we're going with the submachine gun. And out of all the submachine guns, I could only get 3 of them to 30 concealment. And that was the Micro Uzi, the Scorpion submachine gun, and the Compact 5 submachine gun. Now, as you can see, I've got the Micro Uzi equipped, and if I compare it to the Compact 5 here, everything is worse. Everything. Except for the accuracy and the concealment. But, I mean, don't even bother with Compact 5. And then with the Scorpion submachine gun, when I upgraded that one all the way and compared the two, the magazine, instead of being 32, was 20. The total ammo, I believe, was 260, I think, or 240, something like that. The rate of fire was only 1,000 as opposed to 1,200. Damage was about the same. Accuracy, stability, concealment, threat, all that stuff, basically the same. But lower rate of fire, which you want the highest rate of fire with the skills that you're using, and I'll show those to you in a second. Lower total ammo. You're gonna want as much ammo as possible, because you're gonna go through it. And a much smaller magazine, which means you're gonna be reloading a lot more often with the Scorpion than you are with the Micro Uzi. So Micro Uzi it is. Now for the skills. Let's go ahead and take a look at these skills here. So, we'll start off with Mastermind here. Went ahead and grabbed Endurance, just for the extra stamina, because why not? Then I went ahead and grabbed Leadership for the extra stability. I mean, you don't really need to. It's not 100% necessary. But, I mean, I kind of like it. I like having the extra stability with the minigun and the submachine gun. Pretty nice to have. And the Endurance, really good to have with the Dodge class. Now in the Enforcer skill tree here, some of these are necessary, some of them not exactly that necessary. Now obviously Bulletstorm, aced out, really necessary, especially with the submachine gun or minigun, or, you know, if you're not using a minigun and you're using an LMG or something, basically the same. But for this particular class, we're using the minigun. So Bulletstorm, aced out, really good to have. Next we got Transporter. Now, Transporter's not 100% necessary, but, you know, pretty helpful to have Transporter when you gotta move shit. And also, you know, I needed to spend points to get up to here, so why not? Might as well go on ahead and pick up Transporter. Over here, we got Die Hard. Die Hard is kind of useful, kind of not useful. I mean, the basic Die Hard's pretty good to have, because you can use your primary weapon and bleed out. Now, this is good to have, because if you go down in a room and you have a bunch of enemies surrounding you, you can use minigun to clear out the room pretty quickly, and then your teammates can get in there and pick you up safely. So that's pretty good to have. And then I kind of needed to spend points to get up to here, so why not? We'll go ahead and ace it. I mean, armor recovery rate when you're using a freaking two-piece suit doesn't really matter. Underdog was just, I had to spend a point, so might as well put it in here, because why not? You get an extra damage bonus. And in some cases, you can actually use that to your advantage. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. Now, here we picked up stun resistance. This one is very, very helpful to have. Because, I mean, God, I hate flashbangs. And I'm sure everybody else that plays Payday 2 hates them just as much. So, if I'm going up the enforcer tree, I'm getting stun resistance. Then after that, I went ahead and aced out ammo specialist, because you're using a minigun and a submachine gun. These things eat ammo, so you're gonna want to bring as much ammo with you as possible. Now I know that normally with dodge builds, you're usually using first aid kits. Not with this one. This one you're not really going to be using first aid kits. You're going to be carrying as much ammo as possible. Which also is why I picked up fully loaded here. I put just a basic one. I didn't really bother with aced. But the basic fully loaded here, just so that you can get higher ammo, total ammo capacity with the submachine gun and the minigun. Pretty helpful to have, because you're going to be eating through that ammo. So you're going to want as much as you can get. Now, here, Berserker. This is a fun one to have, especially with the minigun. Because when your health is low, you're going to be doing 100% more damage. Now, I know what you're saying. Two-piece suit with a minigun and Berserker? Doesn't quite make much sense, but it will in just a second. And I mean, this using the minigun with Berserker, holy crap. I've taken down dozers like right up in their face in like, you know, a second worth of firing. Just boom, they're done, gone. And the reason I'm able to do that is one of the fugitive skill trees, or the skill points. But anyways, technician here. No points into here, because why? There's nothing of use in here for me. Ghost, I wanted to get up to here for the extra reload speed with the SMG, so I grabbed a couple of things down here. I picked up Sprinter for the extra stamina, the extra regen rate, the extra speed, and the dodge, because it's a dodge build, so we want as much dodge. Next we got Cat Burglar. Now, I personally, whenever I'm using a dodge build, I like to take the shortest path possible, and sometimes that involves jumping over railings. Great example of that is Hoxton Breakout Day 1. When you're in the parking garage, you can either jump over the railing and skip half of the ramp, or you can run all the way around, run down the ramp, all the way around again, keep doing that sort of shit, and have to run past all the enemies that you do. Now, you really think you're going to survive that? Probably. Very possibly. How much ammo are you going to use? How long is it going to take? If you pick Cat Burglar, you just jump off the fucking railing. So, I go ahead and pick that, but that's me. Then, obviously, I went ahead and grabbed SMG Specialist. Just basic, just for the reload speed, because I don't really need any more rate of fire. I mean, wouldn't be too bad. I mean, maybe I could take away this and, you know, spend the points in this here just to get the extra fire rate, but not entirely necessary, so I don't really bother with that. Over here, I went ahead and picked up Base Shinobi, just for the extra speed. That's really all, because I'm pretty sure I think I had one extra point left at the end, so I was like, fuck it, Shinobi, give it. Next, we have the Fugitive Tree, and here's where things start to make sense. Now, obviously, first, I grabbed Thick Skin here. Just steadiness. The ballistic armors don't really matter because you're not wearing a ballistic vest. Here, now this one matters because the melee concealment. You're gonna want your concealment as high as possible to really take as good advantage of these twos as you can. So this one definitely gotta have. Daredevil doesn't really matter, mainly just so you can get up in here. Run and gun, that one's pretty good because you get the extra movement speed and you get the steal sight while you're running. So, you know, not too bad. Over here is duck and cover. Now this one's a really important one to have because it's a dodge build, so you're going to want as much dodge as possible. Now, here we go. We got Swan Song. Now this is a fun one because obviously when you're in Swan Song, you're below 25% health. And while you're in Swan Song, you're invulnerable. So people can shoot you as much as you want. You're not going down as long as you're in Swan Song. And if you got an ace, you got 9 seconds of invulnerability and 9 seconds of blasting people with the minigun in Berserk stage. I mean, you can easily clear a room of multiple specials, lots of bad guys, a dozer, 2 dozers, boom, they're gone. Because you got Berserk going, you got Swan Song going. I mean, you're gonna wreck face. And especially when you got low blow here, giving you an extra 27% critical hit chance. So that means that over 1 in 4 bullets is gonna be a critical hit. I mean, you're gonna take those guys down quick. And then obviously we got Sneaky Bastard here aced out for as much dodge as possible. Now normally if I was running a dodge build and I was able to get my concealment down to like 5 or 7 or something like that, 9, then I wouldn't bother acing this out because it's just a waste of points. But right now my concealment's only 26, so definitely want to go ahead and ace that out. So you can go on ahead and get a 1% chance of dodge for every 1 point of concealment. Now, when we go into the perk decks, I looked at a couple of different perk decks and I found 2 that looked really interesting. Now one obviously is the rogue deck, and that's for all this extra dodge, because if it's a dodge build, you're gonna want the extra dodge. And then you got this Killer Instinct, gives you a 25% chance to pierce armor and increases weapon swapping by 80%. You're gonna be able to pull that minigun out like that. It's gonna be crazy. And also with the armor piercing, you don't really have to be as precise with your shots. So you can blast somebody in the chest, and there's a good chance that you're going to pierce the armor. There's also a good chance that you're going to crit. So, I mean, really good working together. Now, the other one that I saw that I thought would be really good to have was this one, the Yakuza perk deck. Now, this one is a good one because if you're basing your thing around Berserk, this is a good one to have because it's going to give you first off, if you fill it up here, you're going to get your Berserk state at 50% health instead of 25% health. Then when your health is low, your armor recovery rate, there we go, is up. So when your health is below 25%, you gain an additional 20% armor recovery rate. When your health is below 25%, there's another armor recovery rate. And then what was this one? Oh yeah, movement speed, more movement speed. So with this one, you're gonna be in Berserk at 50% health as opposed to 25% health, which with the dodge build, you're more than likely gonna be at lower health, because you're not really counting on your armor or your health to keep you alive, but your dodge. So you're gonna take a couple of hits early on, and you're gonna go down into lower health. And this is going to work really well with Swan Song because you're going to get an extra 20% movement speed tapped onto the Swan Song, because Swan Song is only like 60% movement speed. So with this, you're going to be moving a little bit faster in Swan Song, so it's going to make you a little bit more mobile, and you're going to be able to get to where you need to be to either get picked up safely or get out to the enemies quicker so that you can blast them with the minigun. Either way you look at it, that one's pretty helpful. But the only problem is that you don't you don't get all this dodge that you get with Rogue. That's the only one that kind of sucks. Is that this is a dodge class, so you need dodge. So you kind of gotta weigh your options here. Do you want a little bit more dodge, or do you want more stuff to buff when you're in berserk state? And also obviously the armor pin chance and the weapon swapping. You kind of gotta weigh your options. Me personally, I'm gonna play it on the safer side. Go with the Rogue. And keep the dodge. But if you want to have a little bit more of an aggressive build, clearly the Yakuza deck is the one to go with. So, kind of mix it up, test it out, see which one works best for you. Now for the rest of the stuff here, as always, for the melee, I like to use a buzzer. I just like it because it can stop enemies flat in their track, it can stop cloakers in mid-charge, it can stop a taser that's tasing somebody. It can stop anybody. It can even zap dozers. I've fucking zapped dozers with it before and stopped them from shooting people. So buzzer's really nice to have. It doesn't do a whole bunch of damage, but damn if that tase isn't useful. Now for the throwable, doesn't really matter. You can go with a grenade, you can go with a Molotov, you can go with a javelin, dynamite, any of them. Anyone that you prefer. The javelin's pretty nice just because you can resupply it. But as far as Captain Winters is concerned, the javelin is fucking useless. So you're probably, if you're planning on dealing with Captain Winters at all, if you don't want to let everybody else take care of them, then Molotov cocktail, frag grenade, dynamite, one of those is what you're gonna run with. So it's up to you. Now obviously we're going with the ammo bag because we're using a minigun, so we're going to want to carry as much ammo as possible. So clearly, ammo bag is the way to go. And then armor is a dodge class, so 2-piece suit, obviously. We're not going to use anything else. But that is it. That is the minigun class, and this is a fun class. Now, as I was saying before, this thing absolutely obliterates people. When you go into Swan Song and you've got Berserk going, you can just absolutely blast people. I've taken down 10-15 people at a time before with the minigun. Dozer in there as well, Taser in there as well. This thing absolutely fucking wrecks. But you kind of go through your ammo quickly, so it's not the most efficient class you can go with, but it's still pretty fun to use. But yeah, that's the minigun class. If you like this build, go on ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later.